Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Dr. Francis.
Yeah, good
Good afternoon,
Hi,
sir.
Idea.
Hi, good afternoon.
Where is everybody now?
Good afternoon, sir. Dr. Francis.
Yeah, good afternoon. How are you?
Very well, sir. I saw IJ immediately I logged on, but it's like he has dropped off.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know, maybe you can give 1 or 2 minutes for few other people to join us so that it will be just only the two of us. Only Farah and myself are on the session now.
Okay. Before that, John, at least let us look
I,
at what we have covered so far.
I think we have quite about 6 people now, so I think we can continue. We can start.
Yeah. So we are still in pandas, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good. All right. So what have we learned in pandas now?
Data frames.
Yeah.
That's how to write data frames, how to get it from, how to read CSV files, how to create data frames, how to add columns, and we've seen the GDP example.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's right. So if we were to create, what do you call it now? So let's create a sim. Which data set did we create that day? So the first thing we need to do is to what? When you come into your Jupyter notebook, what do you need to do? Yeah.
Sorry, sir, I didn't get that, sir. What did you say, sir?
I said when you come here now to your Jupyter notebook, now what do you need to do?
Import pandas.
Thank you.
Import pandas as PD. Then import NumPy as
pandas as PD, import NumPy as MP. Then in case you need to import random, so let's also import random. Okay. So if I have maybe data equals to mp.random.randint, let's say any number between 1 to 100, give me how many numbers? 50, let's say 50 numbers. So let's see data, good. So how do you put it in a data frame?
PD dot data frame, capital D, capital F, then brackets.
Now, but you know,
Data.
in this case now, what is the shape now? So that means if we put in a data frame, just give us a single column, isn't it? So how can we reshape it now? How can we reshape
in an
it?
array? Like in an array.
Yeah, so let's reshape it. So what shape can this take? 50, what shape will it take?
And it can take like 5 columns of 10 rows each.
5 columns, 10 rows. Okay, so how do we do that? 5 columns, 10 rows. Yeah. How do we do that? 5 columns, 10 rows. You see, that's why when we are learning this thing, as I'm asking, just quickly try and attempt it, because you don't learn if what I'm doing, you are following exactly what I'm doing without trying yourself, you are not learning. So first of all, learn, make the mistake. Once you make mistake, right, then you now understand it better. Because the moment you are following maybe videos and you're just following exactly what they are doing, right? And whatever they are typing, you're just typing and you are getting it. If you are getting it every time, you are not learning yet. Because the more errors you have at this stage, the better for you. Okay, the more errors you have at this stage, the better for you. Because when you have made that mistake that you learn from, because you now have to learn how to identify the error, right? How to correct it, right? So next time you now know what not to do. Okay. So how do we shape this now into a? You say how many? 5 columns, 10 rows. Yes, 5 columns, 10 rows. So how do we do that? Yes. We are forgetting NumPy. Data.reshape. Reshape into what now? What are we reshaping to?
You said 5 columns and 10 rows.
So which one do I put first? Is it row by column, column by row? Which one? Which one is coming first? The 10 or the 5?
The 5.
5. So 5 columns come first.
Columns. No. Sorry. It's 10. It's 10. It's the rows first.
All right. Okay, so I think we have it in the structure like this now, right?
Yes.
Good. So if I say dot shape, can you see that now?
Yes.
So you see how you move from a matrix to a table. Okay. So for example, let's maybe create, let's say columns. What column name should we use now? Let's say, for example, which one did we create the last time? Okay, let's say you have different. Okay, let's say you have different countries, right? Let's say you have Nigeria. You have what again?
They use
Ghana,
Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, South Africa.
Kenya, South Africa. This how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. Which
That's
other
4.
one?
Can use Egypt 5.
Egypt. Okay, good. All right. Or alternatively, you can just type them straight. Then use splits. So to split it out for you. Okay, now so we want to put it in the data frame. So how do I put it in the data frame now?
PD dot data frame. DF is equal to PD dot data frame. Bracket. The first thing will be the data. So
Data, right? So,
yes.
and the name of
Then
data is equals to data, either equals to data or you just call it straight, right? Then column names is what?
Calls.
Right. So we have it this way. Good. And remember, it is always index 0, isn't it? Start with what? Index what? 0. Okay.
Yes.
So once you get your data now, you need to start exploring your data, isn't it? Because what you see here, first of all, you know the shape of your data. Okay. You know the shape of your data. So at times when you have the data, and again, when you say, how do I check the type, the data type?
Is data type data dot type. No. Jesus Christ.
Type bracket.
Type.
Right?
Just type.
DF.
Type.
Type DF.
Type.
Type DF.
DF. Yes.
We understand that this is what? A data frame. Okay. Now, once you see that it's a data frame, that means now you now know that this is like an Excel file that you have now. Okay. So everything that you do your Excel, you can attempt to do here. And again, when you see, For example, if I want to get only Nigeria out, how do I get Nigeria alone? I want to get Nigeria. This data for Nigeria, I want to pick Nigeria alone. How do I pick it?
Yeah,
df.nigeria.
So either df.nigeria or what other way?
df double brackets. Oh,
Yes. Right, good. If I want to add another country, maybe like Egypt, so I can put Egypt there. Egypt. Okay. So we can extract the columns that way. Okay. And that thing again, we looked at the index location, isn't it? Another thing again we looked at how to, what they call it, add up. So if I want to add a new variable, let's say I want to get Africa. How will I get Africa now? If I want to get a column called Africa, how will I add the column called Africa?
so it will not be df brackets Africa.
Which brackets?
It's not this brackets. This
Okay. Which brackets?
the list bracket.
That's square bracket, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Quoted Africa.
So Africa. Okay, good.
Just,
What do
so
we
you
do now?
can now have df Nigeria plus Ghana plus Kenya.
Okay. Say DF what? Nigeria plus DF Ghana. Okay. Plus DF Kenya plus DF South Africa plus DF Egypt.
The
So
last
the
one is plus.
Plus.
okay, plus. All right, so if I run DF, DF, so we have it there, right? Good. So we have DF there, okay? And if you were trying to, so for example, that Africa, right? That Africa, assume you want to change that word Africa to, let's say, a new country. Let's say, which other country can we put now? Which other African country can we put? Tunisia. So I want to change that Africa to Tunisia. How can we name that Africa to Tunisia?
As you want to change the name of the column Africa to
Yes, that
Tunisia.
column name Africa to Tunisia.
So can't you just say DF Africa is equal to DF Tunisia?
DF what?
Brackets, list bracket Africa
Africa,
equal to
Tunisia, like this.
no, it to be in quotes.
Like this.
Yes.
Like this, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yo.
Let's try it.
I see how you have done. Is that what you want to do?
just no. Okay, it's equal to DF Tunisia. It's equal to DF Tunisia.
So if I want to go back to this, since I cannot undo, I will come back here to run it back. I'll come here to run it again, so that at least I will have my original data again. right? So you say what?
You have to specify that it is a column.
There is a column, okay? So how do we do that now?
EF dot data frame,
GF the what?
the data frame.
The data. So GF, what is data frame now?
ED dot data frame equals to,
Mhm.
sorry, DF is equal to PD dot data frame.
Equals to PD dot data frame.
So now put column equals to
Column.
column Africa.
Column or columns?
Columns
Yeah.
Africa
Equal to what?
equals to Egypt.
Equal to what?
Yeah, I got it wrong.
Yeah. So normally, you see all these things you are trying to analyze, right? Because once you have got data frame, you have your table there. You now have different methods. So we have one of them called rename, isn't it? So that rename, what am I renaming? I'm renaming what? The columns. What's the name of the column? So here I can
Africa.
simply use Africa. You know, I want to change this Africa to what now?
So you're using a curly bracket too.
Yes, no.
Like okay, like a dictionary thing.
Yes, now like a dictionary. I want to assign it now.
Okay.
Is that not it? If I want to, but the only thing that this one is going to be temporary. So if I want to make it permanent, what do I do?
Use in place.
In place. In place equals to true. So if I run it now, GF. So can you see that now?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Great. Okay. So we have seen that. What again did you say we looked at again? What did we look at again?
I think we looked at removing top rows and column.
Removing what?
If you want to remove, I think we look like slicing.
Okay, slicing. Okay. But you know, for the slicing, right? We're looking through this thing. So, for example, if I want to select certain rules, because
Yeah.
remember that by default, Python uses the index, isn't it? And it starts from index 0, right? It starts from what? Index 0. And again, remember, you can also assign your own, what do you call it now? Your own index if you want, right? You can also assign your own what index. But most time when you see it this way, that means you have to assign to use what your index, right? So for example, if I have my, let's say I want to pick what now? What do you want to pick now?
I want to pick the first two rows.
Hey, you want to pick the first 2 rows, okay? So how do we pick the first 2 rows? First 2 rows. Pick the first 2 rows. So how do we pick the first 2 rows?
So I know it's with the index.
Yes, so how?
Yeah.
First 2 rows. Yes, I want to pick the first 2 rows. So first 2 rows, right? So we are going to use the index, isn't it? We're going to use
Yes.
what? The index. So that's why we have df dot iloc is what? Index location. Isn't it? Index location. So for example, if I say index 0, what does this mean? Index 0.
Let's prove.
Okay.
Can you see that? It's reading it like this. Can you see that? First row. Okay. Which means if I want to pick first 2 rows, what will I use now? First 2 rows.
As 0, 1.
First 2.
0 to 1.
0 to 1. Like this.
0 to 2.
Is that it?
0 to 2.
Okay. df dot iloc 0 to 2. So what are you seeing now? That you pick that first one, right? But this last one, so it means it's going 0 to the
As
last
0
one.
to
So
0.
it will be like index minus 1, right? So if I want to get the first 5, what will I use now? First 5.
0 to 6.
0 colon 6.
Column 6, exactly. So which means if I pick 2 to 5, what will it be? 2 to 5, index 2 to 5. With what?
It will give 2 to 5, like 2 column 6 will give 2 to 5.
2 to 5. Okay, good. So have you seen how to pick them now?
iloc.
I know sometimes, even if you want to pick maybe, let's say from, so let's say df.iloc, let's say I want to pick from column 5 to the end. Sorry, row 5 to the end, right? So row 5 here, right? To the end. So if I put 5, I put the column here. It means 5 to the end. But if I put df.iloc to 5, this is from the beginning, isn't it? To this to 4 now, but this is for like saying first 5. This is like saying first 5. So can you see how it works? Because sometimes when you see data, you may not need all the data. You may not just need to extract just a part of the data. All right, good. What again do we look at again? So we have seen how to pick those rows. For the columns now, it is straightforward now, isn't it? You just enter the names of the columns that you want, and it's going to pick it out for you.
Yes, in double brackets.
Yes, but and that's it again. If I was to drop columns, how do I drop columns? If I was to drop a column, how will I drop the column?
df.
So let's say I want to drop Tunisia. I want to drop Tunisia.
df dot delete.
df dot what?
Delete.
Delete. Okay.
So is it delete or remove?
I don't know.
You have deleted the old database.
So you put in brackets now the name of the column.
You put what?
The name of the column I want to, if it's Tunisia, I'll put df. In square brackets Tunisia. But like I said, I think it's more the remove could work better. That delete, I even think it's DEL, not
Now you see when you want to remove a column, right? You know, sometimes, for example, there are different ways I can do the same thing, right? If I have, let's say, let's look at this one. You see, when I wanted to extract the columns, right? You notice what I have done when I extracted the columns. Where are those columns I extracted? Okay, let's say, for example, I want to pick only this guy. Okay, let me just run DF again. So remember, if I want to pick Nigeria, isn't it? If I want to pick Nigeria, what will I do?
df bracket list bracket Nigeria.
Nigeria. Like this.
Yes. Or we could use the double bracket to make it come out as
bracket, Nigeria. What is it?
a.
What's the problem there? Number of index and columns. All right, let's see. So DF
Yes.
okay, so it means that if I pick the names now, right? So for example, if I pick Ghana, I pick Ghana, I pick Kenya, I pick South Africa, right? I pick Egypt. This is the data I want now, isn't it? So I can put it equals to GF1 equals to that. Indirectly, what have I done? I have dropped Tunisia. Isn't it?
Yes.
I have dropped Tunisia. Otherwise, another way of doing it would have just been GF.drop. Is it not? Drop what? Tunisia. Right? But remember, when I'm dropping Tunisia, if I run this, it will tell me I don't know who Tunisia is. Why is that so?
Because you've already removed it.
Because by default, it looks at the rows. But Tunisia is where?
It's a column.
It's a column. So I will say by default, axis is equals to what? 1. Can you see that now? So now I have the same thing here. But this is not yet, but this is temporary, isn't it? So since it's temporary, I can also put it inside another variable, df2. If I run df2,
so I don't understand that axis.
That axis is the column. Now, if you remember, if you have looked at it, so if I say df.drop, right? So let's check the arguments. So shift tab. So look at it. Can you see axis is 0? So when you say axis 0, so if you read it, if you go through the document, you see 0 or index, y1 or columns. Can you see that?
Okay. So 0
that
axis
by
is
default is for the row. You get?
Okay.
That axis by default is for the row. Okay, so to bring in the columns, you use what? Axis.
It's axis of 1.
Yes. So that I say you can also come down here to the documentation if you're not sure of it, and you can go.
I see it also shows like a small, like a mini lecture.
Yes, now I say everything. I've shown you how to read everything about pandas now. Either you go to the help, you see the full documentation there. You see the full documentation there, right? Or whichever method you do, just press Shift Tab. If you give you an example of what you need to do, then you can just copy it there, and even if you don't know the code, just copy it there, then edit it. That's why I say most time what matters is how you understand how to read it. That's the most important thing. Okay, so I think now let's go to something more interesting. So we have seen how to pick your data, right? So I've seen how to extract data. Now, but sometimes you will notice that when you are looking for a particular data set, right? When you're looking for a particular data set, you may want to check. Okay, for example, let's say I'm looking for a value greater than, let's say 0. So let's say this is DF, right? So this is my full data, right? So if I say DF greater than 0, what does this mean?
It turns it into a Boolean and says whether it's true or false.
True or false, right?
Yes.
All the values that are greater than 0, they put true. The ones that are less than 0,
Put true. Okay, if I say greater than 10,
you see, you have false inside. Yeah.
can you see that? If I say greater than 100, can you see that now?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
sometime again, you can also specify, okay, this is what I need. But if I want to now check, okay, show me those values. So I will have to put under DF again, put it in brackets. Okay, DF, put it in bracket. Can you see now? It will now show me the values now. It will now show me the values. Have you seen that now?
Yes, sir.
All right, good. There are other situations where, but let's not complicate it now, right? Let's not complicate those ones now, because sometimes we can get more than one condition. We can get more than one condition, but maybe much later we can do there. We also talked about what do you call it now? Using index. If I want to replace this one, let's say to year, how will I replace year to year? This index by year.
By year, we can create a variable year.
Okay. We create a variable year here.
We now create a variable. Now say DF.
Yeah, let's see. So how many years do we need now?
We need 10 years.
So 10 years from which year to which year now?
Can do 2000 to 2010.
2000.
No, that's two.
So yeah.
So
2000.
we have 2000, 2001, 2002, like this, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So 2010.
Yeah.
Like this?
No, that would be 11 years. So we have to drop 1.
We have to drop 1. Okay, so let's say we have year this way. Okay, so how do I now put the year now?
So when I say DF is equals to PD dot
DF what?
You can say DF3 is equal to PD dot PD dot data frame.
PD dot what?
Data frame. PD dot data frame.
This hello.
I think the enemies are at work, sir. You can't see your screen again.
You can't see my screen again. Let me reshare. Okay, good. All right, so you already know your data frame. This is the table now, isn't it? This is table. Now, before I can get an index, this index must be part of this table, isn't it?
Yes.
So that means to put this here as part of this table, what do I do?
I'm thinking it to be df2 is equal to now PD
No,
dot.
I still want it on this same table. But if I say df2, you take me to a new table. I still want it on this same table.
Can we have df dot index equals to?
You first of all need to create the year now, right?
Yeah.
df year equals to what? Year. Remember what we did with that Tunisia, where we say Africa equals to Tunisia. It repeated Tunisia also, isn't it?
Yeah.
But in this case now, we already have year equal to this. So it's going to repeat all this. It will repeat all this now here. So let's say df. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Good. So now I want to take this year from here now and replace it here. Right? So how do we do that?
I know its index is equal to year, but
Index. So remember, we have to set the index, isn't it? So if I say df is equals to df dot set index. What's the index?
yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I say df. Now, if you notice what we have been doing there, we'll start from the basics, right? I go through it over and over again. But while I'm going through over it again, there are new things I'll be adding to it. So even if I'm doing something over again, there's still something new I will add to it. So don't say, we have done this before. Okay? And remember, repetition prints in memory. Because by the time you practice and practice again, because what you do is that all you are trying to do is to take an unstructured data to structure it in this way. Because this is how you see it in Excel, isn't it? So that's why you must ask yourself, so if I have this table in this, either in a list or in a dictionary, I need to move it into what? A data frame. I need to set the index. I need to remove a column. I need to select within a range. Now, these are the basic things you will need to do. Because once it's in this form, right, then it will be easier to now start your analysis. Okay? It will be easier to start your analysis. And sometimes again, you see, even if you want to take this out, right? Maybe, for example, this was how the data was given to you. Okay? So I think you can also reset it. You can also reset it, assuming you don't want this again. I want to reset it. So I'll say df.reset reset index. Right? Do you want it permanently?
Yes.
Permanently. So what do we do?
In place equals true.
In place equals to true. If I run df now, can you see it has come back? Why my year is still here? Clear?
So, sir, are you saying that if once we put this in place, can't we still edit this data, this table, and put set index to year again?
Now we have done that before, right? So this year was already our index here,
Yes.
right? So since it's already our index here, so anytime you call this table, it's going to be this way. Unless what you want to do, instead of me using this in place, I will still take, maybe I can say df1 equals to, so I need to run it again. So if I was to set this, if I was to set the year as index now, how do I set the year as index? df dot set what?
Set underscore index.
Index. What am I setting as
Yeah.
index?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if I do this, so this is what I have, right? So I'm now saying that, but this is not permanent. If I want to make it permanent, what do I do? In place equals to true, right? So if I run df now, I have it this way. So what we are saying that if I want to reset it now, rather than using this in place equals to true, I can say df1 equals to df dot reset index. Can I see that now? So if I call df1, it will go back to this one. So either this is still this variable now still contain this permanent data for us, or it can what?
Okay.
Alter the original data with this in place. So it depends on which one you want to do. Are you clear with that now?
Yes, sir.
Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now there are sometimes the kind of data we want to arrange. So let me create another set of data. So we have some kind of panel data form. So this is just the basic way we see it in Excel, isn't it? There are some other situations where the data. So let's say, for example, what type of data can I use now? Okay, let's say, for example, let me use A. Yeah, let's say A, you have, let's say you have G1, let's say you have G1, right? Maybe like group one. Why here you have G2, G2, G2. Okay, good. So let's assume we have something like this. Let's say we have B. Let's say the number B. Let's say we have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So I have 1, 1G1, 2G1, 3G1. Okay. 1G2, 2G2, 3G3. Okay. So if that's the case, then you have what they call hierarchy or higher index. So let's do, you have what they call higher index. Okay. Now in that case, what you want to do, you want to list, you want to put it in form of a list, right? Then bring them together. So you zip. What am I zipping? A and what? B, something like this. So if I say higher index, so can you see what that's grouped them for you? Can you see the grouping?
Yes, sir.
Now just imagine now that there were different countries. Maybe you have continents. Okay, let's say continents now, right? So if I say continents. So let's say you have what? Africa. Let me copy that out. So we have Africa. Let's say we have Africa, right? Then let's say another one we have Europe. So let's say the same thing. We have Europe. Europe, Europe. Okay, so this is continents. Okay. Then let's say we have country. So country, we have what now? Let's say we have Nigeria, we have Ghana, we have, let's say, Kenya. Okay. Then for Europe, let's say we have what now? Let's say you have UK, you have what, Spain, you have let's say Italy. So this is continent, you know, this is the country. Okay. So which means if I want to get world, how will I get world now?
Continent
So
plus.
that's you want to match them, Nabi.
Yes, yes.
What?
So how about we world will now be equal to lists
Yes, list.
bracket zip
Yes.
brackets continents
Continent.
Continent.
comma country
Continent, comma what?
country.
Country.
What's the problem?
Closing bracket.
You didn't close your
I
brackets.
need to use one bracket.
Yeah.
Good. So I say, whoa. Can you see that now? Eyes has mapped them together now.
How did you get it to arrange horizontally?
How did it work?
Arrange horizontally.
Remember, this is a list, right? You mean how it's arranged horizontally like this?
Yes.
It is a list. So you know when you have a long list, you arrange it like this now. When we looked at the data now, when we are, I think there was somewhere we looked at the okay, it was when we were dealing with lists. You see, if you just list them out down like this. Okay, if you just list them out like that. And that's why whenever you have your data this way, right? Because certain times you may have to put it in form of let's say for example now we have this okay, we have world. Okay, now this world, if I was to put it in form of let's say a data frame now, what will it look like? If I was to put it in a data frame now,
PD. DF equals to PD the data frame word. The DF is equal to PD the data frame in brackets word.
World, isn't it? PD. So let's say okay, let's call it DF. So PD dot what? Data frame.
Word.
You say world. Is that all? Let's see. So what did he do?
Thank you.
The columns don't have headings.
They don't have headings,
index.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
So you see how it arranged, but this is not how we want to arrange. We want to have Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya. We want to have Europe, UK, Spain, Italy. Now let's assume we still have data. Let's say like world population. Let's say the population. Let's say we have population of the let's say we have population. Okay. So how many do we have here? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with 2 columns, isn't it? So that means 6 rows, 2 columns, right? So let's say, for example, let's create a let's say df equals to pd dot data frame, right? Now I want to generate random numbers. Right? So how many should I generate? So let's say mp dot what? random dot rand.
Rand int.
So which numbers? Let's say what should we put? Okay, let's say 100. Okay, let's say one. Okay, let's say 1,000, right? What would be the size?
Let's put it 10.
Size. What's the size? You remember that this for the size. You know how you normally do. What's the row and column? What's the row? How many rows? How many columns?
It's 6 rows and 2 columns.
2 columns.
6 rows and 2 columns. So I can say size equals to
6 by 2.
6 by what? 2. Isn't it?
Sure.
6 by what? 2. Okay. Index. Do we have an index? Do you have an index?
No, I'm not sure we don't have one. But we just have.
This one, what do we call this one now? Okay, we call this world. So let's say index world, right? Then column names. What are my columns?
Africa and Europe.
Yeah, let's say
Country and continent.
Hello,
yes.
David.
We just only have for one. So okay, let me say population. Let's say
Good afternoon.
good afternoon.
My name is Mr. Ojo from Lekki Garden. You promised you are coming by 12:30.
Moses, Moses,
Hey.
Wahala.
Eh?
Moses, you need to mute.
You forgot. See yourself.
Moses.
You make a
6
promise
by
to
1.
me, and
I did
Yeah,
please
that's
mute
what-
Moses.
imagine.
He doesn't want to hear.
So what are you going to do now? Can you
Yes.
come this afternoon?
Can you see what has happened now?
You are not. Yeah, but tomorrow is Monday. Don't you expect me to go to work? What about maybe around evening today?
Do we have anybody that's in charge of
Eh?
claim host? Saying put passwords.
Eh?
If someone should
Except
ask you to mute.
when I okay, I will call you when I
Communicate
close.
first. Sorry, like in all these sessions, Mfan is the host, so and because
but-
she's not always here,
But
so
that I
the
normally get him
automatic
around
hosts.
it.
But let me call him personally.
No,
you come.
you can't come by that.
If
time.
anybody else
Moses!
has his phone number,
Ah,
also try
You
to
should
call.
be able to hear us now.
If anybody has
If
his
his
phone
number is
number,
busy because it's on his call.
Okay, I will call you then when if I come back. then I will call you.
Moses!
I've been trying his number. It's not picking.
He's busy because it's on the call.
Yes.
Your girlfriend is
hell?
coming to meet you.
Oh, Jesus.
Like you.
Moses. It's
Moses,
not
can we
done.
continue now?
Oh my God.
Moses, can we continue now?
Okay. You are there.
Uh,
I can see you've muted. Okay, so
so let's go on, sir.
Let's continue. He has muted.
all right. If Moses say we should continue, we'll continue. Who are we to say? Let's start?
Let's continue, sir.
he has realized that. Apologies for that.
All right. Good. Okay. So what we have been doing before, right? You know, the index we have been picking, normally they are single index, right? So where we assign, for example, year. But now, if I want to assign Africa, that's a continent and the continent and the country, right? As index. Okay, so what we are doing there is going to be called. So you see what we have done here? This is simple index. This is single index. So another way again we can do it, we can do what they call multiple index. So you can have multiple what? Index. Okay. We can have multiple index. So in case you want to also do the multiple index, then let's say, for example, we have world, let's say equals to PD dot. Just the way you have index, right? The way you have index, you can have multiple. Now you have to be very careful because the multiple index is capital M and capital I. Otherwise, you'll be having errors. You'll be having errors. Okay. All right. So let's see here. Okay, or should I still call it? Let me still call it DF. Since we already have world. Where did we combine those two? Okay, here was world, isn't it? We called it world. Okay, good. All right, great. So we can call it multiple index dot. Here, see, sometimes you don't even remember. If I press Shift Tab, let me see, Shift Tab. We do some. Okay, doesn't recognize it. So it's multi-index. Multi-index. So anytime you press your tab and it doesn't come out, it means that you have not spelled it well. Okay, so this is it. So you can read through. You can see multiple level or hierarchy. So you can read through and you have examples of what to do there. Okay, so it's multi-index, but take note of how it's spelled too. Take note of how it's spelled. Multi-index. From tuples. Whoa. Let's see. Okay, so we have Africa, Nigeria, Africa, Ghana, Africa, Kenya, Europe, UK, Europe. Okay, good. So if we have the multiple index like that, then if I also now call it in full, what do we now do? We have to call it out now. What do we do? Now, where you have that your world, can you see where we have this world? So the same thing that we have done here. So let me run it again. So DF. So let me call. Remember, if I'm calling DF, you know, you still be replacing it with the last one I have done. Okay. So let's say PD dot data frame, right? MP dot random dot run int. Size, let's say, okay, let's use the same. This one simply means give me data within 1000. It's not pick random data within 1000. This is the size. Okay, if you want it to be 1 million or whatever amount you want to put. Then for the size, let's say 6 by 2. The reason why it's 6 by 2 because of the shape. Okay, because of the shape. Okay, 6 by 2, close brackets, yes, comma. Index is equals to what's my index now? Let me call this one world 1. Let me call that world 1. So index is world 1. Okay. Columns. Let's see, my columns are what? Let's see. If I say GDP, let's say GDP. Let's say population. Let's run. Let's see. Where's the error coming from now? Say pandas has no attribute data frame. So where's the error coming from? What is the error?
Spelling of data frame. Remove the small f.
Spelling of what?
Data frame.
Data frame, exactly. All right, so DF. Can you see how it looks now?
Yes.
Yes, so this is what they call multiple index. multiple what index. Multiple index.
So this multiple index, this word 1 that we had Africa, Nigeria.
Yes.
Can you split one of the values into, like, I want to split it into 2 columns.
Which one?
Let's say we had this Africa, Nigeria, we have Ghana, but we want to split it into 2 columns.
This one.
Yes.
You want to split into what?
2 columns.
Already, right? It has already done that for you here. So that's why you have this. It has already separated them for you. So can you see that comma there?
Yes.
So that's why when you take it as index, because it's already a multiple index, what it's now doing for you is now taking them into 2 columns.
Okay.
That's what it's doing for you there. But what I'm just showing you that it's also possible to also do your multiple words index, okay? But most times, will you always work like this? It depends, right? It depends. But most times for now, let's just learn that single word column. But I'm just showing you that it's also possible to arrange your data this way. It's also possible to arrange your data this way. All right. Another critical thing again we must try to learn here. Okay. So let's look at let's create another simple data set. Now, why I'm always using small data, so at least you can see what is happening. Because by the time we use large data sets, right, you will not see the way the data is or what's happening at the back end. So if you see any of these syntax, I think you can interpret them now, right? You know what's happening there, right? You can interpret it. Can you interpret it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So let's look at some missing data. Missing data, because this is another very important thing that you'll be working with. All right, missing data. So let's create a simple data frame. Let's say df equals to pd dot data frame. So we'll have maybe like 3 columns, A, B, C, D. Okay. So in that case, let me use a dictionary. Let me use a dictionary. So let's say we have A. What are the values there? What are the values? Sorry, let me change back to that. So what are the values? So let's say we have 1, 2, 3. If I put np.nan, do you know what this means? np.nan, what does it mean? What is np?
NP is
NumPy, isn't it?
NumPy,
What is nan?
not available.
Or not a number.
Available numbers.
Or not available. Okay. So NumPy also, you can also do that. Okay. So let's say for B, so let's say for B, let's say we have another set. Let's say we have 5, comma, let's say np dot nan. Let's say we have another np dot nan. Okay, let's do another one, last one. Let's say C. Then we have 1, 1, 2, 3. All right, I hope this is okay. What's the error? What's the error?
Unexpected end of.
You have not closed the bracket.
Yeah, so anytime you see this, you just know you have not closed something, isn't it? So here was open, so I needed to close it. All right, DF. So can you see that now? So anytime you see NaN there, what does NaN mean now? What does NaN mean?
Not a number.
But actually it's missing, right? Missing data. So most of the missing data you are going to see will be written as what? NaN. It will be written as what? NaN. So sometimes whenever you see missing data, so how do you deal with missing data? Okay. So how you deal with missing data depends, first of all, on the understanding of the data. Okay. And that will say it is your domain knowledge that will help you understand the data. Because sometimes when you see certain data, you will know whether that data makes sense or not for you. Okay. And again, your missing data may also depend on your objective. If my objective is to forecast or make predictions, then where I have missing data, I'm at liberty to now choose or estimate values I can put there. But if, for example, you are like, it's an accounting issue, right? Or audit, I cannot just fill any value there I like. I must go back to the source, isn't it? And put the data there. So that's why we say when you are trying to clean data, you must first of all understand what your objective is. The easiest way is that if I see this data, I see they are missing. The easiest thing to do is to what? Drop all the missing data. Is that not so? I can drop all the missing what? Data. Okay. So how do I drop the missing data? So I say df dot drop what? NA. That's all. I've dropped all missing data.
I have a
Can you see
question.
that? Yes, please.
So what if this serial number was years
What if what?
and we say drop, like what if the serial numbers were like years is the columns?
Yes.
If we say drop missing data, that's like aggregating it into one rule.
Yes. So that why you
So
see,
would that not?
assuming it was years, assuming that column C was years, the best thing for you was to put it as an index. Do you get that? If that's your column C was years in which you are going to read that data, quickly just put it as your what? Index. So it doesn't distort it.
Okay, I get it. So we'll still have our three rows.
Yes, you still have your variables there.
So that means the drop any row that has
NA. Can you see drop NA? Anywhere I see NA, drop
okay,
it for
drop
me.
NA. Okay.
Have you seen that?
Yes, sir.
If you're in Excel, how we have done this in Excel? If you're in Excel, how we have done it?
You'd have filtered for NaN and then delete.
You will just filter blanks.
Yeah.
Do you remember? If it was in Excel, you just go to your filter, click the blanks. So all the blanks will disappear.
Yes,
That's
sir.
exactly what you have done here.
But sir, it's only showing the first row.
Yes, now. We say drop NA. Look at the first row. Do I have any NA in the first row?
No.
Leave it. Look, go second. Do I have any NA in the second row?
Yes.
Drop it. Go to the third one. Do I have any NA in the third row?
Yes.
Drop it. That is exactly what it's doing. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
You see that why I don't want to be using big large data sets so that you understand what is happening. Because once you can see what is happening, then when you see a larger data set, at least you understand what is going on or what it has done. Okay, let's look at another thing. Now remember that if I call DF back, it will still give me the original data, which means it's not dropping it permanently. Can you see that? So either I can drop it inside a new variable, df1 is equals to that. So if I call df1, it will give me the clean ones that doesn't have any, or I can call back this. Alternatively, what can I do? df.drop any. So if I want to make it permanent, what do I do?
Drop any in place equals true.
In place equals to what? True. Right? If I call df, can you see that now? So let me go back and recall it again. All right, good.
How do you bring up the methods for DF for data frame?
Which one?
As in the methods, like in when we did them for NumPy and the rest, like list, you can do directory and you see the data, the methods for
the methods.
Yes, for data frame. Is there any?
Okay, for the data frame. You see that why I say if you go to your documentation, right?
Yes, sir.
I go to the pandas, I will see almost all the methods there. So if I say user guide, let me say user guides. There are quite a lot. Can you see them here? So this is like missing data, right? You are going to see quite a lot of them. Okay. But I'm just showing you the ones that you need.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, another thing again you can do, sometimes you will notice that I want to just drop one particular column. Let's say I want to drop, which one should I drop now? I just want to drop one particular, let's say column or row now.
As we could drop a column, like column B.
Yeah, you want to drop column what?
B.
Column B, isn't it? You want to drop column B. Now look at, sometimes you will see that where the NA, for example, the last row, right? That is row 3 now, isn't it? It has about how many? It has 2 missing data there, right? So
Yes.
if I say, okay, df dot drop NA, right? Drop NA. But I don't want to drop, I want to drop the ones that have maybe like minimum of, let's say, 2 missing data. It has minimum of 2 missing data. Okay, so that's what they call like a threshold. A threshold of 2. That means that if it has 2 missing data, drop it. If I put threshold of 1, just a threshold of 1. Let's run that again. By the way, let me go to that documentation and check it. Let me see. Node. Okay, so go and come to the documentation. Trash requires that many non-available values. So it has to be many. So you cannot just do one. Can you see that? By default, can you see that? It has to be many.
Yes.
So that's why that one did not work. Okay. So sometimes that's how when you are learning it, you try, if it doesn't work, just go to that documentation and check. So if I say 2, okay, good. So this is another way again you can do. So if I want to do minimum of 3, So I'll put what? So if I have three, at least three, this. So if I put three, let me show that three will work. If I put three, it wiped out every other one. Okay. So it dropped all any ones that have more of three. Another thing again we can do, and this is another very popular one again, right? Because you see, this NaN is missing, right? Like it's blank. It's blank. Sometimes you may want to say, okay, this is my missing data that I have here, right? I want to fill it. I don't want it to be NaN. I want to say, call it a null or call it something. So if I say df dot, so here I want to call it maybe null values. So where I have NaN, I want to call it null. Okay. So I'll say fill NaN. Fill what? Fill those values with what? With null. With what? Null. Okay. So if I run it now, can you see it has null? Or if I say fill it with Francis, can you see that now? So sometimes those your NaN, those your missing data, I can fill it with anything that I want there. So this way I'm filling with a text or a string. Yeah. Or if I say where is missing, put A, and that's it. Are you clear with that?
Yes, sir.
Good. So you can fill it there. Now, some other situations, so where I have, let's say, df now. So if I look at this now, another way again people can do this, they can fill it either with the average, they can fill it with the median, they can fill it with the whatever, okay, with the maximum or minimum. Okay. So for example, that's your value there. Again, if I say value, instead of me filling with A, I can put 0 there. Can you see that? It will fill everything with 0. Okay. In that case, if I don't want to fill it with 0, so for example, I want to fill it with the average, that is like the mean, isn't it? So I'll say df dot what? Fill NaN, right? Value. What will be the value now? What will be the value? Yes, what will be the value?
So I don't understand what we want to do right now.
Look at now. These are missing data, right?
Yes.
So anywhere I have missing data here, I want to fill it with the average.
Oh.
Do you get? I want to fill it with the average.
Okay.
I want to fill it with the average.
It's with df dot fill NaN value is equal to average columns.
Here I say value is equals to what?
I know it to be the average of the column, but
Which average now exactly? So which average?
the column.
Average of the rows now. It's not the rows.
You see, if you say the rows, the columns, they are two different things. Okay, so most time what you may want to do, if I look at the particular column, because remember they can be different variables, right? It can be different what variables. Okay, so you have to be very careful here what exactly you are trying to fill. Okay, if I say okay, df dot mean, let's say df dot mean. What is this?
The mean of each column.
The mean of what? Each word column.
Each column.
So if I say equals to, what will I call it now? Df what?
Dot mean.
Dot means. Will this one work for us?
Yeah.
Did it work? Did it work?
Yes, it did.
Yeah, it did. for column.
What's happening there?
Is it correct? I mean, the average plus 1 plus 5 plus 1, that's 7 divided by 3. That should be 2 point something.
No, we are doing he did the mean
He
of the
did only
columns.
0 and 1.
Okay.
He did only 0 and 1.
To get 1.5.
It seems like
Now,
he
when we
did only-
calculated the mean, right? That mean, was it correct?
Yes.
it was
It was
no, but it was
correct.
correct
isn't
for only
it?
2
Which
rows.
values? Sorry, which values did we use? I'm trying to get it.
Which values? Look at now. This is the data, right? This is the data set, right? We said, okay, can we find the average? Can we find the average? So that was the average.
Okay, now I get it. Sorry.
Now you get, right? So 1 plus 2 divided by 2. 5 divided by 1, is it? 1 plus 2 plus 3 divided by 3. So that's why we have this one. So we are saying that anywhere you see NA, fill it with the average value of it. Can you see that now? So it's filling it with what's the average. But sometimes you can also specify, please, I don't want you to fill with everything. No. I want you to fill it with this particular what column. Then in that case, it will be df dot what fill NA value, right, is equals to what? Df dot what? Df for, let's say, for example, A. I want to fill with the average of A. Dot what? Mean. So what's the average of A? Average of A is what?
1.5.
1.5. So anywhere I see blank, 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. Have you seen that
I
now?
want to ask a question. No,
Yes.
average is calculating it based on the column. So what if you want the average across the row? Just like we added the other time, we added 2 countries.
Okay, across the row. Let's see. Across the row. So if you are calculating it across the row, let's see how does it work. Across the row. So DF. So we want it across the row, right? So how can we read across the row? If I say, let's see, if I say DF dot B, I'm looking for how to do. Sorry, if I use axis equals to 1, equals to 0 here. Will that work?
Nope.
So if we are to get the average for the row now, let's see. The average for the row will what? The average for the row will what?
That's what would be like 2.3 or so.
Yeah.
No,
Also,
first one will be 2.3.
also, could we try axis of 1?
Axis of 1 is column. So which it has done for you automatically.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Okay.
So in this case now, so we have to now look at, okay, how can we identify the rules? How can we identify the rules? Okay, so how do we identify the rules? Well, let's see if the first one we have done, right? Was it not by rule?
Yeah, the first one we did, it's calculated.
By rule now, isn't it?
No, by column.
By column.
By column.
by column. So if you go through here, right? Go to here.
Yes.
That means it's going by the rule that you add 1, 2, 3, divide by the number.
Exactly.
Right? So that means if I put x is equals to 1.
Yes, this is correct.
This is correct. Yeah?
9. Yeah, 6 divided by 3.
Confirm.
It's correct. It's correct.
It's correct.
6.
All right.
But
So that means
No, but the second one.
6 by divided
3
by
divided
3.
by 3.
That should be
It's
1.8.
2. Why is it giving us 3?
1,
No.
2, 3. Okay, no, look at now. You know, it's only one value you have there now.
I thought we were looking at the. Oh, okay, sorry.
No,
I'm
we're not
looking at
considering the NAs. It's just the ones with
Yes,
values.
yeah.
No, I was
not
even looking at the
considering
wrong table. I was looking at the fill NA table. That's what
Okay,
I was
no,
looking
not this one.
at. Okay.
So that means in that case, so if we were to do the same thing, it would have been df dot fill NA, isn't it? Value equals to what? Df dot what? Mean
Mean equals axis equals 1.
equals to 1. Did that work? So let's see.
It returned
You return what now?
the data.
Just as it is, right? So if I have x equal to 0, with this have worked. So this one worked, right? But if I put x equals to 1, it's still returning back the original data set. It's still returning back the original data set. Okay, so why is he doing that? So let's try and see why he's doing that.
That's from village.
Yeah.
No, not
You see again, if it's not clear again, let's go back to documentation. You see, the way it has already been pre-programmed. So if I was to do fill NA options, okay, columns. Fill NA. Anyway, if I go back to understand what's happening, then maybe I can explain why it's not picking it. But let's see another thing. If I see say axis equals to 1 is done, currently only can fill with number column. Oh, anyway, we'll check why that is. We'll check why that is later. But the point here is that you can see how you can easily fill. And again, take note again. Take note. Even if you look at it, if you're working in Excel, although it depends on how your data is arranged, right? Depends on how your data is arranged. Because normally what we want to do, we want to fill it with what? This part, because there are different variables. So it's just like saying, so another point again you need to take note. Assuming this ABC was Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, right? And let's say these values were their maybe average growth rates, right? Will it make sense now for me to now start replacing the average of these 3 countries with this BC data here?
No.
Isn't it? So it will be for each country, fill it with the average of that country, fill with the average of that country. That's how we would have normally have done it. So which means if you want it the other way around, so either you are going to flip your table. let me say df dot t.
Yeah, baby, fine.
The transpose. Can you see it? Then in that case, let me call this as df1 equals to that. So if I call df1 now, so I want to fill it with what now?
The average,
df1
okay.
dot what? Mean, isn't it? So this is the mean now,
Yes.
right? So I have df1 dot what? Fill what?
But fill any
Value
is equal
equals
to,
to
value is equal to df mean
df dot mean.
dot mean.
Aha, you see, enemies are still at work, even when we turn it upside down.
It's not DF1. Okay.
Sorry, df1. df1. Did it work?
Yes, it did.
This is 2. Okay, it's 2, 2, 3.
Yeah,
So
It did, sir.
this is supposed to be 2. Okay, here
2,
it's
yes.
supposed to be 2.3, but I rounded it up, right?
But the last one is supposed to be okay.
The first one is supposed to be what?
2.3.
2.3.
But that first one doesn't have any empty space, so
Yeah, right.
there's nothing to fill.
It-
Index 0
Yes,
doesn't have
not-
any empty space. Sorry, column 0 doesn't have any empty space.
Column
So
what?
it did not fill anything. As in column 0 does not have any empty space, so they did not fill
This one
anything.
does not have anything.
But,
So
but
here,
column 1,
so let's see here now. 2.3 is what? Is this 2.3?
2 is 3.
Eh?
So it's
no,
reading
no,
it
no.
as column 2. So it's taking in 3.
No, Vera. I think that the first column, that 2.3 is the average of 1, 5, and 1.
That's his first column.
Yeah.
That's the first column.
Okay,
But
still
the
going this way,
placement-
still going this way, still going
Yeah.
this way.
It's still
This
going
way,
down.
right?
Yes.
So for this one, this is 0. Okay, yes, this is, you know, we have inverted it now, right?
Yes.
So that means for this one, you take it as 2.
2.
Right? Then for
Yes.
this one, you take it as what? 3.
3. Because there's only 1 3.
Yes, there's only one. Okay, so that's it now. So this is 0, 1, 2. So for 0, it will be 2.3. So there's nothing to fill here. For 1, it's going to fill it as 2.
So the average of 2 and
It's
2.
going to fill it as 3. So 3, 3, 3, 3. So it's correct now.
Yes, sir.
You understand this now? But there would have been another way to do it too, right? But this way, I just decided to transpose it, then worked it. There would have been other I would think about another way of how to have done it straight. Okay, but this is clear now, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, clear, good.
Yes.
So you can fill with a text, right? You can fill with a particular number, or you can fill with the average, or you can also fill with the median. So the same way, if I also fill with median, it will be, so if I say df.mean, right? df.mean. Okay. The same way, I can also have df.median. When do we use the median? When do we use the median?
Want to pick the middle number.
Eh?
I want to pick the middle.
Yes, but when do we use it? When do we use the median? When do we use the
I think
median?
maybe like when the data
When
is
the data is
skewed.
not available. Yes.
Yes,
skewed,
when
or
the
you don't
data
have
can be
information.
skewed or you see there's an outlier, isn't it?
Outlier.
Yes.
So the same way I can have df.max, right? df.max, df.mean.
Man,
Can you
calculate
see
the
that?
range.
You can do that there. Okay. So by the time you look at the minimum maximum, you check. Right? So if you notice there's an outlier, then most appropriate to now be what? Median. Okay, good. So we are clear with this field heading now, right? Are we clear with this field heading now? How to fill the data now? Because this is one thing you are going to be doing as data analyst. Because especially when you are going to be doing some predictions. So where you have those missing data, then you can fill it up or drop it. It depends. Okay, either you fill or drop. Otherwise, the best option is to make sure that you go back to the source to get the original data and fill it there. Okay, if not, this is an alternative, especially when you're going to do your predictions. Okay, good. Let's create one more thing. Let's create another set again. Right now, the reason why I'm always creating data set so that you get used to how to transform. Once you get the data in the list, you can easily transform it to a table. All right, so let's get another one. Let's say we have data. Let's say I'll have maybe different. Let's say we have different companies now. Let's say we have. So then put it in form of. Let's put it in a dictionary, right? So let's say we have companies. So which company now can we use? Which company can we use now? Okay, we have Apple. Yes, okay, we have another Apple. Let's say you have, let's say Microsoft. Let's say you have, okay, let's write it in full. Microsoft. Let's say you have repetitions. Microsoft. Okay, let's take one more. Let's say Facebook. Let's see, Facebook. Okay, good. So we have company there. So let's say we have. So let me pick another one. Let's say we have. So that's the company. Let's say we have. Okay, let's say employees. Let's say we have employees now. So let's say we have Francis. Let's say we have IJ. Let's say we have let's say we have Bookie. Let's say we have let's say we have Moses. Let's say we have who again do we have? Let's say we have Troops.
Sarah.
Why is Moses coming before Wally?
Let's have Vera. Okay.
Wally
Okay,
is
assuming
not
that
even
the employees that we have, right? Let's say these are the employees that we have. Then let's say what again do we need now? Let's say, for example, okay, let's say sales. Let's say the sales that they need. So let's say we have maybe 200 million, 120 million, 340 million. Let's say we have 124. Let's say we have 24. Let's say 243. Anyone? Let's say we have 350. How many do we have there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. So if I see data, so this is what it looks like, right? Good. So how do I put it in the data frame?
PD.
Yes. So DF is equal to what?
DF is equal to PD.data frame.
Your data frame.
Data.
Data.
Data
all right. DF. Okay. So we have it now. Good. So we have something like this now, right? Now you know that if you're in Excel, right? If you're in Excel, all we have done in Excel. If you're in Excel, all we have done. If you have this type of data in Excel, what we have done. We have this data
Just
in
check that my
Excel.
title is fine.
Huh?
So first check that my title is fine, that my headers are right.
Okay.
But what am I trying to achieve first?
That's what I'm saying. If you have this data in Excel, now what do you want to do?
I want to analyze the data.
You want to
The
what?
sales people, the sales of each employee, sales performance of each employee.
So what you actually do is a what? It's what they call group by. So let's say, for example, df.group by. Let's say group by what? Let's say company. Let's say company. But what do we want to do? So let's say, for example, I want to get the mean. Let's say I want to get the mean. Okay. In Excel,
So it's looking similar to what we did in SQL, this group by. I thought we did one group by in SQL, sir.
Have we done SQL?
Yes.
We have done SQL.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you took it. Yes.
Okay. So we are done with SQL.
Yes, sir, we are.
Okay. That's good now. So in
We can
SQL,
take it again, since it's on your calendar.
I see on my calendar. Once we are done, we are done. So you mean we have done
But you did not
Excel?
remember.
Oh, you don't remember. Okay, leave SQL. What about in Excel? In Excel, what does this remind you of?
Pivots.
Pivot table.
Exactly. That's your pivot table. Exactly. That's your pivot table. Okay. So what you are doing here is a simple, like your pivot table. But I'll still show you a proper pivot table here, right? But this is actually what a pivot table is trying to do for you. Okay. So the same way I can have df.group by, let's say group by company. Let's say dot count. Can you see that? To count. So everything is 2222, isn't it? So let's take Apple 2222. Okay, so that's it. So you can do a count, you can do a sum, you can do a for us to do a standard deviation. Let's say STD. That is standard deviation, right? Standard deviation. Which other one again can we do? Okay, but basically that is it there. Okay. The same way you can also have your maximum. So for example, I can have, let me take that. I can have maximum. I can have minimum. Okay. I can have maximum, I can have minimum, and you can have your count. Okay. Another thing again you can do, so I can have df. So if I want to summarize it, I can have what they call df dot describe. Can you see that? Describe. If I have to transpose it, I can have df dot describe dot t, I think. Yes, dot t. T is for transpose. So either you do it this way or use a transpose to transpose it this way. So you know in your Excel, you remember your descriptive statistics in Excel?
Yes.
So that's what you have there. Okay. So you see for your transpose, so if I have df dot transpose, so can you see what has done now for you? You can have something like this. So you can transpose your table. So here I can also type your transpose. Can you see that? If I put transpose, then you have it this way. So you can have it this way, have it this way, or dot T. So any of them. So whenever you are doing your descriptive statistics, so this is what we are talking about here. Okay. What again can you do? Now, sometimes you see, for example, let's look at this data, DF, right? So you notice that this data now, 200, 120, 340. So I want to arrange it in a particular order. So maybe let's say from highest to lowest, right? From highest to lowest. So from the highest values, that are ascending or descending order, from highest to lowest.
Descending.
Yeah, it will be descending order, right? Descending order.
Yes, sir.
Descending order. Okay, good. So if you are to do it in descending order, right? In descending order, because by default, most of them will be in what ascending order, smallest to highest. Okay, so if I was to sort this, I'll have df dot what? Sort values. Okay, what am I sorting? I want to sort what? Sales. Let's say I want to sort the sales. From where? Ascending equals to what? False. Can you see that now? So this is the highest. But if I have left it by default, so I just copy and use the default, right? The default is going to have what? If I take this out, it's going to sort it what? Smallest to highest. So this by default is in ascending order. So that way we have to change here from. That way when you look at the documentation, anyway it says false or true, you need to understand what it's trying to do there. Okay, are we clear with this?
Yes, sir.
Good. I think we can stop here because next week when we come again, by the way, that next week I will be traveling on Wednesday. I will be traveling on Wednesday, but either I'll be back on Sunday or Monday. So IJ, just follow up with me if I'm available, if I'm around. But if I'm not around, we have some consultants that can take over now.
Like Moses.
Yeah, like Moses.
Yes, so it's Moses.
No, there is one Bukola.
Yes,
Yeah.
Moses.
Bukola is
Whoever
like a
it is,
consultant.
even if it's what you have done before and people are still having issues, you can use that. If I'm not available, you can just revise it.
Okay.
Yeah, if I'm not
Okay,
available,
sir.
you can just revise it. Yeah. But when we meet again, I want us to go into pivot tables. Pivot tables. So once you have done that, so once we have shown you simple pivot tables, then I think we can now go into proper data sets. Then we have already learned how to import data now, right? We have learned how to import data.
Yeah,
Yes,
read.
Eh?
Yes, read CSV.
Exactly. So read CSV. So remember it will be pd dot read if it's a CSV file. Then either you put the parts there, right? So C back, you go and copy the parts there, put it there, put an arrow there to read it. Okay. There is an Excel file, pd dot what? Excel. If it's a PDF file, PDF. If it's a HTML, a website, HTML. Okay. But most time for now, we'll be working with CSV and Excel files. So once we are done with that, then the next thing, we say we have done the SQL, isn't it?
Sir, yes.
We say we have covered SQL now, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Good. So
Yes,
that
sir.
means that once we are done with that pivot table, we'll now see how to connect your SQL to your Python. So you'll be writing your SQL script inside Python. So if you have not yet, if you have forgotten about SQL, go back and brush it up again. Who is the person collating our list for all the sessions? So please note them where we have Python, where we have Excel, where we have SQL, then the Python, the courses that we are doing so far, or the topics we are doing.
Okay, sir.
So for those who are joining us. So if you have noticed one thing, if you have not been practicing, you know that it's now getting deeper and deeper, isn't it?
Yes, sir. This one will be lost.
Yes, but with this one now, you now see that what you have been doing in your Excel. All this, don't you do them in Excel?
Yes, we do.
But the only difference now is that when you now have to come here is that when the data is so large, like imagine a data set with 2 billion rows. Can you work with that data in Excel?
No.
No, isn't it? So even if it looks as if but I can do this in Excel, but where the data becomes so large, like 2 billion rows, you can't do that in Excel. So the same thing you want to do in Excel is what you are going to do here. So do you understand that now? Even if it looks as if but I can do this in Excel now. But because of the limitation in terms of the size of Excel and speed, right? So that's why you have to do it here. Because once we are able to do that, once we are able to deal with the data here, then we can now move to the next part of machine learning. So once we are done with machine learning, I think we can end it here. By June, we are supposed to enter what our timetable? What's our timetable? Are we still on course?
After this, after we are done with Python, we're supposed to enter Power BI.
Power BI. So Power BI, is it for the month of June?
No.
Please, if we have public holidays, can we be using the public holidays? So that we can go, we have a lot to cover. Because once we have gotten to Power BI, I think most of us will be very okay now. Once we get to Power BI, I think most of us will be okay. Because like what will now be left for us is to learn Tableau and learn R. Is that not so? So Tableau is optional. R is also optional. So if you learn Python, you don't necessarily need to learn R. But in some organizations, they are specific that either you have a Tableau skill or what R skill. So now I'm just trying to expose you guys to as many things as possible. So once we are done with that, because once we're done with Power BI, you are as good as you can apply for almost any job. All right, guys. So I think we can end it here. So we'll see when I'm back.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Francis.
All right. Thank you very much, guys.
Shego, what are you doing here? Hey, what's Shego doing here?
Shego belongs here.
How did Shego belong here?
I'm with you guys. I'm with you guys now.
Shego will take us next week. Shego will take us next week.
What?
We have a guru in the house.
We have Shego, we have Maria.
Look, man.
Me, I want to start lessons with you guys. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Shego Alpha.
Thank you. Fine, thank you. Fine. So I'll be joining you guys going forward, please.
Yay!
Yeah.
Have you joined the WhatsApp group? Let them add you to WhatsApp. Bye, guys.